It's a real privilege to be able to love someone and let them go because you were able to grow up. You were able to, discover yourself through them. You're able to understand your purpose. Some people are there to give you that boost, to move you forward and to shed light on what's really important. Because there's other people who come into our lives just to kind of like keep us stuck in that loop, keep us stuck in that day to day, and it's a little bit sad because once you realize it's too late, and other people realize, wow, this person has really opened my eyes to what I really need to be doing. They opened my eyes to what's right and what's wrong, to the do's and the don'ts, It's a real privilege meeting those kind of people. The type of people that allow you to grow, and the type of people that can acknowledge when the going gets tough, and they're like, hey, I think it's time we, stop here, and take a different route. Some people have the privilege of, I guess, knowing the route already, They have that map memorized. They're able to navigate. They're able to understand and, realize where it is they need to go and where they don't need to go. Whereas other people need that map, They need that Siri to tell them where to go. And the destination is all the same, And in my case, my destination at the end of the day is to be with my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, in heaven for all of eternity. And some people require a little bit more help. Some people are able to acknowledge whenever they can't do verbal instructions, or they don't have that map memorized already. They don't, they're just, I guess, bad with directions. There's no shame in being bad with directions. We're all gonna get there. Probably not at the same time, but we'll get there. That's the beauty of it, is Jesus Christ is there for us the entire way. Sometimes you have a guide that's able to help you get there. It's able to help you get there. And sometimes there's another guide, like Jesus, and he's the one that ultimately just takes lead in the expedition, whenever your usual guide can't help you out, because you gotta train, and if you train with the same person every day, you're only gonna know that one way of doing things. But I mean, he's just, that's kind of like the beauty of it, is whenever he sees that you're not yet qualified, he qualifies you, and I'm far from being qualified, Just because I know the route doesn't mean I know the conditions of the road or the conditions of the environment, and sometimes I get cocky and I tell myself that it doesn't matter, that I can make it, But, no, you know. There is no coincidences with God. You know, he's never gonna give us something. He's never gonna let us go through something we can't handle. You know? And he always has a plan at the end of the day, you know. The people he puts in our lives is intentional, it's not by mistake. Oh God. It's never he never gives us something I guess we're not supposed to have. He allows us to go through these things for the sake of growth. He allows us to love people. He allows us to sit there and love someone, you know, and he allows us to, you know, meet their families. He allows us to meet their friends. He allows us to meet those in their lives, you know, and it's all for a much greater purpose that we don't yet understand, I guess. And I'm sort of beginning to understand it, you know. Because he put someone really special in my life. He put someone in my life that, you know, I didn't ever think I'd come across, you know, never in a million years, you know. I was telling my parents the other day that my plan in high school was graduate, go to college, you know, do my own thing, get my own apartment, you know. It was to just do the things I wanted to do, you know, like be a man, be a guy, you know, like do whatever I wanted, you know, like yeah, if I wanna drive to